A mass abuse case shocked the nation. The victim was an 8-year-old girl. The child was beaten with a tennis racket for half an hour, then abused in a corner hidden from surveillance cameras in extremely brutal footage that has outraged people. Anonymous for many years, suddenly someone impersonated me online. She revealed that, in the shocking child abuse case of the past, in addition to the 2 people arrested, there was a third person. The post went viral. Some people worried that bad guys would find her to take revenge. Others blamed her for not saying it sooner. I will take revenge myself. The person impersonating me suddenly announced that he would make the other 3 pay. That year, I had just graduated and couldn't find a job, so I hid in the stairs and cried. Dawn saved up her savings to buy me a cup of milk tea. Standing there, she worriedly asked, "Are you happier after drinking it?" I used to hate those who harmed her. I used to think that, if possible, I wanted them to suffer the most severe consequences. But for the money to help Dawn continue her treatment, I did the worst thing, carrying that burden on my shoulders for 4 years, unable to sleep at night. I used to think I would hide that secret for the rest of my life. Unexpectedly, 4 years later, another person appeared pretending to be me, posting revealing news. If the article is shared more than 200,000 times, I will reveal the identity of the third person. If the shares exceed 10,000, I will give a small gift. The number of shares skyrocketed. Very quickly, people found out her identity. She had interned at a newspaper office and was also named Lily Dean. Some people wanted to go to her place to confront her. Some people also said that the bad guys would silence her and both of them would be arrested. Evil deeds are punished without haste. I changed my name to Lily Quinn, left journalism because I felt unworthy, and worked for a marketing company. Evil begets evil. Seeing that sentence, I just wanted to laugh. The 2 people arrested that year were named Trevor and Victor, both of whom were under 14 years old at the time, so even if they were arrested, they wouldn't have to serve a real prison sentence. Netizens were outraged, but did not know that the third person was also a minor. Even if there was enough evidence, the law could not punish them severely, let alone if the evidence was not enough. In the end, only traces of Trevor and Victor were found. I knew that making the third person public, besides being scolded, would not change the reality. Dawn needed more than $10,000 for medical treatment, but her family could not manage, leaving only a week-old grandmother who worked as a janitor. Trevor and Victor's families were also poor. In the end, they collected money from everywhere, even pawned their wedding rings, and could only manage nearly $2,000. In one hand, I held a hospital bill of nearly $10,000. In the other hand, some crumpled change that I had used up. Both hands trembled, sweating profusely. I gathered all the remaining savings, but still lacked $5,000. That's the reality. Conscience can't buy money, but secrets can. The third person promised, "As long as you keep quiet, I'll send you $500 every month." Finally, I collected enough hospital fees. She and Dawn could breathe a sigh of relief. I lied that it was her parents' accident insurance money and sent them $700 every month to help them pay. I used to think that justice was to speak up for the weak, but I didn't expect that there would be times when I was forced to stay silent. So when the post appeared, I panicked and was afraid of losing the money, so I texted the imposter. "I didn't post the post. I'll find her and stop it in time. Rest assured." After a long while, the other side replied, "When it's resolved, I'll continue to transfer money." I was both angry and scared, so I had to borrow from friends and gather $700 to send to the bank as usual. Unexpectedly, Dawn's grandmother refused to accept the money for the first time. "Lily, you have lied to me for 4 years. After asking carefully, I found out that because she had not received the money for a long time, she went to the insurance company to ask, and found out that the accident compensation had long been received only once. Why are you so stupid? She was both sad and angry. Don't send money anymore. We can still live as long as we have arms and legs. She read the other post too. I wanted to explain, but didn't know where to start. So I just opened my mouth and waited silently for her to scold me. Unexpectedly, she said, "I believe it. You definitely didn't post it. My friends and I believe you." After hearing that, I burst into tears. You have to be careful. Don't let bad guys find out. It will be very dangerous. If you need to call the police, don't get hurt. If she doesn't need the money anymore, why should I keep this secret? Just as I was about to post an expose, the imposter updated the post. Guys, the post has surpassed 10,000 shares. I will send the gift first. Unexpectedly, the gift she threw out was Trevor. In the past, when I went with the lawyer to meet Trevor to negotiate compensation, I met him. Trevor at that time also boasted by putting his feet on the table and sneering. No big deal, I only did it once, and Victor did it more. He paid, even the police couldn't stand it. He spoke carelessly. His father angrily slapped him hard. He fell to the ground. For a long time, did not dare to get up and cried. More than $10,000. Selling melons all my life is still not enough. Can I apologize? In a fit of rage, I stood up and pointed at him. So if I stabbed you with a knife, cut off your arms and legs, and then apologized, would you accept it? Everyone was stunned, including me. Trevor thought that I had blackmailed his family, so he even poured red oil on my door and wrote in blood, "You will be the next to die." I was forced to move houses and change my name. He continued to live a rebellious life until half a year later, when he was finally sent to a reformatory for seriously injuring a deaf-mute delivery man. That was the only retribution he ever received. 4 years later today, he was about to be released from the camp. I was not willing. I hated that he didn't die in the camp. But the truth is, no, I still couldn't do anything. At that time, the anonymous person wrote again. At 5 p.m., Trevor would be released, but that was not his real ending. Tonight at 8, please come to my live stream to watch the animal receive retribution. Discovering that Lily Dean was about to live stream killing someone, the entire comment section exploded. Those who had scolded Lily were now silent. Wow, Lily, I owe you an apology. How could Lily beat Trevor? He's big and strong. Be careful of being counterattacked. Killing someone is not good. Punish Lily by not eating snacks for 3 days. The comment section was full of jokes. Only a few people mentioned it seriously. Lily, aren't you afraid of being caught? Once again, I kept quiet and let her continue to use my name to stir up the city. Before 8 o'clock, the live stream room opened. Millions of people were waiting to see Trevor's end. Me too. In the live stream, there was a man in a chef's uniform holding a cigarette, frying food in oil. Hidden camera? This was Lily? A man? Exactly 8 o'clock, but Trevor still hadn't appeared. The chef finally walked out of the frame with a kitchen knife. The chat room exploded. It started. This is the first time I've seen a murder live stream. I'm so nervous. Everyone, please watch in a civilized manner. Don't randomly click report. Are you crazy? This is still a joke. I've already reported it to the police. This is a society ruled by law. I was so nervous that I was sweating, afraid that she would fail. The live stream was still noisy. Lily, you forgot to turn the camera. We only saw the pan of oil. How stupid. Why did you turn back? If you turned your face, you would be used as evidence. Outside the camera, it was dead silence, only the sound of slippers dragging on the floor. Coming. Then, another person entered the kitchen. The voice was young, but the camera didn't turn to him. Only a long shadow was seen on the floor. Waiting for him for a while, the The live stream room became less lively. Only a few scattered comments remained. Everyone held their breath and waited. Suddenly, the figure disappeared from the floor. On the wall appeared the shadow of someone raising a knife. Then there was a bang. The door was slammed shut. I stared at the screen. My back trembled and I jumped up. No, that man wasn't Trevor. I recognized his voice. Killed the wrong person. The chat was even more confused. He really killed someone. In the kitchen, there was a slapping sound like a meat cleaver. He's crazy. So scared. He chopped Trevor into a meat pie? Didn't he find it strange? Trevor didn't scream, didn't struggle, didn't run away. So why was he chopped? It wasn't clear how long it had been chopped, but a young face appeared on the camera. Still live streaming? He didn't even turn to face the camera? What kind of live stream is this chopping meat? Who wants to watch? He was still grumbling. Seeing the continuous comments, his pupils dilated. Wow, come here quickly and see why so many people are watching you chop meat. The chef also walked over, both surprised and amused. When did my name become Lily? How can you see the number of viewers on the live stream? 10,000? 100,000? 5 million people were watching him chop meat. The chef leaned closer, his face pale. Are you crazy? What makes you think I live streamed killing someone? He remembered something and his face turned pale. Yesterday, a girl gave me $50 and asked me to live stream chopping meat for her. Is that girl a murderer? The atmosphere was filled with surprise and complete disillusionment. Lily lied to us. There's no Lily. It's just clickbait, advertising the restaurant on oil. With a kitchen like this, I definitely won't come eat. At that moment, the chef screamed and ran off camera. Mom, don't say the piece of meat the girl gave is human flesh. The second half of the sentence was lost, and the live stream was cut off. That piece of meat is most likely Trevor's meat. The chat room was buzzing with chatter. I looked for connections in the reformatory, and sure enough, Trevor was missing. At 5 p.m., he was picked up by a black van. It seems that the anonymous person said it right. Trevor's ending was to be killed and chopped into meat pies. To find the restaurant above, I watched the live stream frame by frame. Finally, the delivery box that flashed across the screen gave me a clue. Faster than everyone else, I found the fried food restaurant in Area A, but it had closed long ago. The old men who were playing chess under the tamarind tree said the boss and the delivery boy were invited for investigation by the police. Yesterday, the police came and took away a big bag of meat, probably human flesh. I'm telling the truth, that kind of kid is useless even if he doesn't die. He hung a lunchbox on the doorknob and he followed and slashed people all the way down 9 streets. Don't think that a teenager doesn't have the power to kill. I heard that the other person was mute. What a sin. His left arm was crippled by it. He can't deliver goods anymore, and now he's guarding the gate at the slaughterhouse. I guess that mute person did it and was afraid of being implied, so he blamed Lily. It's impossible. With a crippled left arm, he could still chop a guy as tall as Trevor. I don't believe. Right then, anonymous caller sent a message to Slaughterhouse Z. Come and save me quickly. The person signed was Trevor. He hurriedly called back, but couldn't get in touch. Save him? I pray he dies. Thinking back, I felt something was wrong. If Trevor was kidnapped, why didn't he call the police? Didn't ask his parents for help, but begged me to save him? This was a trap. The more I thought about it, the more scared I became, and a chill ran down my spine. I was scrolling through my phone in the elevator. I subconsciously raised my head and saw a middle-aged man in the security team. His head was down, but his eyes were fixed on me, full of fear. That gaze made people tremble. I instinctively took a step back. You go first, I'll wait for the next one. The elevator door slowly closed, but unexpectedly, a hand blocked the door. The man rushed out of the elevator, pulled out a knife, and slashed straight at me. "It's you! You must have killed my son!" I was so scared that my legs weakened. I fell to the ground, and behind me I heard a loud shout, "Stop!" Fortunately, the police came to find me to cooperate with the investigation and save me in time. Seeing Trevor's father being restrained by the police, struggling crazily, I was still trembling, my heart pounding. Lucky I didn't get in the elevator, otherwise I would have been hacked to death. He glared with hatred. "My son hasn't been home for days. You must have killed him and chopped him into minced meat." I broke out in a cold sweat, silently watching him being led away by the police. A police officer shows his papers. Lily Quinn. Old name is Lily Dean. Where were you at 5 p.m. on the 19th? I clenched my phone tightly, determined. I knew where Trevor was. Hearing me say that Trevor was not dead, was in the cold slaughterhouse, and even asked me to help him, the police were all surprised, looked at each other speechless. One person muttered, "What a coincidence! It's Slaughterhouse Z again." After asking carefully, I found out that the deaf and mute delivery man had changed jobs 3 years ago and was now working at Slaughterhouse Z. When we arrived, the neighbors had called the police because the smell of rotting pig carcasses was so strong that they couldn't sleep. My intuition told me that someone must have died inside, but I didn't know if it was Trevor or the deaf and mute delivery man. Without waiting for the police to seal off the scene, I quickly walked in. My professional habit made me turn on the camera on my phone and aim it at the half-closed door. The scene inside made me suffocate. I turned my head and vomited continuously. The police had just arrived. "Don't go in. Get out quickly." But when they saw the scene in the slaughterhouse, everyone fell silent. In the middle of the row of rotting pigs was a pale body. Trevor was hung upside down there, and flies were buzzing around the body. He was dead. His lower body was chopped to pieces, his flesh and blood mixed together. When I got back to the company, I still hadn't recovered. The boss scolded me because I kept asking for leave. I missed the opportunity to hunt for hot news. I was silent for a long time, took up my phone and threw it to him. "Hot news you want? What's your attitude?" He quickly grabbed the phone, and after a quick glance, he was so surprised that he was speechless. In a short time, the news spread like wildfire on the internet. My media company also became famous. I suddenly became the star of the company, being courted and flattered by my boss. After hunting for a few more news like this, I doubled my salary and bonus. I was physically and mentally exhausted, so I continued to ask for another day off. The police quickly identified the suspect as the deaf-mute delivery person and brought her back to assist in the investigation. I also had to go and take a statement. When I passed her, she suddenly turned her head and gave me a strange smile. She didn't say a word, but moved her lips and said, "Thank you." I stopped, turned back to see her being taken away by the police, not looking at me again. I went home and lay in bed, unable to sleep, feeling that everything was extremely strange. When I received the distress call from Trevor, he had been dead for a day. Obviously, the message was not sent by him, but by the deaf and mute delivery man. She knew I was Lily, and certainly knew I wouldn't go save her myself, but would call the police and spread the news online. The police will definitely arrest her for investigation. If she's not stupid, then this means this is what she wants. But why did an anonymous post appear online while she was assisting in the investigation? Want to know how Trevor died? If this post gets over 500,000 shares, I'll tell everyone. Wait for it. The deaf delivery man is not the poster. public opinion is increasingly boiling. Initially only a few thousand shares, but thanks to my promotion, in just one night, it surpassed 600,000. I suddenly realized that's what she wanted. Perhaps the anonymous person is not one person, but a revenge alliance. In the working group, colleagues were still talking excitedly, discussing how the deaf-mute delivery man could kill Trevor, a tall and muscular man, with one hand. He will probably be treated lightly. He is deaf and mute. I was silent for a long time, finally typing a line into the group. She is about to be released. People did not believe it, but in less than half a day, the deaf-mute delivery man was released. She has a clear alibi. That day, she was working at the charity center. There are many people and surveillance cameras that can testify. Her release caused a stir in public opinion. It is said that the police have set up a special case to investigate Trevor's death, and all the netizens who were watching the screen finally saw the details of the crime. I picked up Trevor, lured him into the freezer, and locked the door. I stood outside, listening to him scratching the car with his fingernails and screaming. Waited a long, long time. Finally, he was silent. I took the knife and walked towards him. Just when more details were about to be known, the post was suddenly deleted, refreshed several times, but still no further action. At this time, an informant sent a message saying the police had taken action and arrested a 12-year-old girl. I was shaking with fear and immediately called Dawn, but she didn't pick up, making me even more panicked. I hurried to her place. From afar, saw a police car and a little girl being escorted into the car. Just seeing the back, I panicked and screamed. The girl turned her head, not Dawn. I breathed a sigh of relief, but saw the girl wink at me again. I was sure I didn't know the girl, but it was as if she knew me. Watching the police car leave, the little girl in the car pressed against the window, waving goodbye to me. I heard the police found the refrigerator truck based on the girl's statement. The inside of the car was full of fingernail scratches, proving that Trevor had struggled desperately for a long time and was finally frozen to death, his lips and lashes covered in snow. Very cruel. But compared to what Dawn had to endure, what was that? Dawn used to really want to learn tennis. Now just walking past a tennis court makes her tremble. The girl who killed Trevor was named Tessa, an orphan who escaped from an orphanage. This year, the girl is not yet 12 years old, still a minor. Using magic to defeat magic. Everyone believes there must be a master behind the little girl. After all, it's not realistic for a kid who escaped from an orphanage to want to rent a refrigerator truck. The police thought so too, and asked the girl if she knew Trevor or Dawn. What was the motive for the crime? Is it for justice? The innocent girl replied, "There's no motive. I'm just having fun. In my past life, my real name was Lily Dean. When I was 12 years old, I transmigrated into Tessa and had a dream where I killed bad guys one by one. You guys won't believe me if I say it. If you want to arrest me, then arrest me." Everyone thinks she reads too many novels and has mental problems. No one believes it. But in my heart, the veil of confusion is getting clearer. No, that's what she said on purpose. Whether it's the deaf delivery girl or Tessa, they're both doing the same thing. They attract attention, make everyone share the revealing post, and finally expose the third person so that he falls into hell. After Tessa was arrested, the post was deleted, and not long after, they posted a new one. The number of shares overnight exceeded 650,000, but then stopped. If their goal is to reach 1 million shares, just with Trevor's death and the arrest of Tessa is not enough. Without new information, this news will be quickly forgotten in just 2 days. Tessa will soon be released and, according to the regulations, will be sent back to the orphanage. What else can they do? There is no good news in the morning and afternoon. If only one more bastard died, it would be great. The boss muttered and walked towards me. I suddenly woke up. They want to kill one more person. Victor! I jumped up. Boss, I have urgent business. I have to go out for a while. The boss frowned. You think you have wings? You think you are a sales star so you can leave as you please? I have hot news. I quickly packed my things into my backpack. If I don't leave now, it will be too late. Tessa has been arrested. What is new news? Don't make up stories anymore. If there is no news, I will post news to expose myself. I looked straight into his eyes. I was the real Lily. He was stunned. Then I quietly moved aside to let me go. I walked quickly to the door, still hearing him shouting behind me. Do you need me to take you? Yes. When I arrived at the police station, I just happened to see a crowd of reporters surrounding Tessa, everyone jostling to push their microphones close to her face. 3 layers inside, 3 layers outside. I couldn't get in. I thought she had some exclusive news, but with an interview like this, anyone would only get old news. The boss teased beside him. I didn't pay attention, just told him to continue driving to the prison. Even though he didn't understand, he still took me to the prison gate. Remember to keep that promise. If there's no good news, you have to expose yourself. Besides Trevor, there was an accomplice named Victor. He was sentenced to 3 years for robbery and attempted murder and will be released in half a month. Not many people know that I was the one who put him in prison. That year, he drugged me until I was unconscious, stole my computer and phone, and even tried to set fire to kill me. If I hadn't been scared by Trevor before and installed a smoke alarm system in the house, I probably would have died in that fire. Victor looked gentle on the outside, but in reality, he dared to kill people and burn houses. When he committed the crime, he was 14 years old, so he had to bear criminal responsibility and was actually imprisoned. I rented a room near the prison, contacted the source, and followed him for a few days and finally got hot information. I heard that Victor behaved well in prison and should have been released early. But after Trevor's death, his family was also scared. Everyone advised him to find a way to cause trouble to stay longer, but he didn't listen and even refused to visit. Hearing that a little girl was planning to kill him, he laughed heartily. Trevor was really useless. If it were me, there was no way he would be tricked into getting into a refrigerated truck. If you have the ability, then come and kill me. I will kill you in self-defense. I gave this information to the boss, and he was overjoyed. Damn, this time you really have the ability. The information just posted online immediately climbed to the top of the hot search. In the midst of the heated discussion, the anonymous person appeared and replied, as I predicted. She only wrote 2 words, come. And just one night, the heat was everywhere. The battle was coming. The storm was about to hit. The boss was overjoyed, and for the first time, he gave me a $2,000 red envelope, saying that my target this year was too good, and I would receive the highest bonus. The whole company was jealous of me to death. Okay, but I couldn't be happy, because according to what I had found out, the day Victor was released from prison was also the day Tessa turned 12 years old, and she could no longer avoid legal responsibility. I sent her a private message to remind her, but she didn't reply. The day Victor was released, many reporters were waiting, but no one caught the anonymous person. In broad daylight, in front of so many cameras, killing Victor was impossible. At that time, the anonymous person had already posted online, "Sorry everyone, I'm 12 years old. Killing is illegal. I can't continue joking around." My colleagues breathed a relief. It's good that she's awake. This girl finally understood that reality is not a dream. Let's go. Don't chase me anymore. I was silent for a while. If you go, go. I'll stay.
Suddenly, the prison gate opened. Someone shouted, "Victor is getting in the car! Hurry up and chase after him!" From afar, a male figure was seen getting into the car. All the reporters immediately rushed over like a swarm of bees. "Get in the car quickly. If you can't eat the meat, you have to have some soup." My colleague urged me to get in the car quickly, but I refused to leave easily. "You go, I'll stay." I kept feeling that Victor was not stupid enough to obediently walk out and let himself be chased to the end by reporters. Victor definitely hasn't left yet. I squatted alone beside the stinking ditch in the middle of the street, waiting for him to come out, a burnt cigarette in my hand. Okay, no need to see me off. Thank you for giving me a chance to start my life over. I turned my head to see Victor being escorted out by prison guards, his face smiling brightly. As soon as the guard left, the smile on his face immediately disappeared. He angrily kicked the prison wall a few times, then opened his pants and peed on the wall. "It is Victor!" I stood up in a hurry, but a black van quickly blocked in front of me. I was about to go around when I saw a short, fat woman get out and slam the car door. Boom! A loud bang startled me, but the woman paid no attention to the sound as if she were deaf. In the hot weather, she wore a long coat, a hat, and a mask, revealing only her eyes. I didn't recognize who it was for a moment, so I quickly took out my phone to take a picture. The king was also startled by the sound of the door closing. Before he could pull up his pants, he saw an electric drill spinning in the woman's hand. He was scared out of his wits. The drill bit strength straight into Victor's face, screaming continuously. Blood splattered all over the wall. Victor panicked and ran away, but tripped over his pants that he hadn't pulled up yet. "Help! Help me!" He crawled on the ground but couldn't say a word. The woman followed him step by step, then viciously stabbed him in the stomach. The miserable screams echoed everywhere, just like I had heard 4 years ago. Victor didn't recognize me, still frantically calling for my help. I had hoped that this day would come, that he would be cut to pieces by 1,000 knives. But when it actually came, I realized that I had underestimated the weakness in my heart. I couldn't bear those cries for help, and even had a moment of weakness. Thinking of Dawn, I finally didn't turn around and chose to cover my ears and run away. Unexpectedly, Victor recognized me, shouting loudly, "That person is Lily!" He desperately grabbed the woman, pointed at me, and begged for his life. "The injustice have a head. The woman has a master. You must find Lily to take revenge." It was her cousin who was the mastermind in that case. It was her who chose the person, chose the location, everything. Everything was decided by him. In the end, he gave me and Trevor 2,000 each to take the blame for it. He panicked, hurriedly cleared his guilt, and pointed frantically at me. "Lily knew everything but didn't say a word. She's an accomplice. Kill her." The woman pulled out the flesh-covered drill bit and placed it on his neck to prevent him from running. Her gaze on me made me unconsciously take a step back. But then she raised her hand to signal me to continue filming. Then she suddenly stabbed the drill straight into his forehead. Blood splattered everywhere, and I was so frightened that I had to cover my mouth. Victor stopped making a sound and fell face down on the ground. The drill continued to crush his brain. Before the guards arrived, the woman took the drill away, walked past me, and got in the car. Once in the car, she pulled down her mask, smiled at me, and drove away. Waiting for her to leave, I anxiously and frantically crawled closer. "Victor! Victor!" I struggled to turn him over. His eyes were still wide open, angry, looking at me until my head was numb. I clenched my teeth, trembling, reaching out to check his breathing. He's not breathing. He's dead. I breathed a sigh of relief, only then realizing my hands were covered in blood. Without thinking much, I quickly took a picture of his face. Him being alive wasn't news. Him being dead was super hot news. "Are you okay? Can you see the killer's face clearly?" I held the cup of hot water, my lips trembling. I couldn't see clearly. She was wearing a hat and a mask. The police arrived soon and immediately sent people to check the camera, chase the car. Some examined the body, called an ambulance. Even the quietest person like me had someone come to comfort me. "Don't be afraid. You're safe." Victor kept talking to that woman. "Didn't you realize she was deaf? Couldn't hear anything?" And that deaf and mute delivery man could clearly hide his identity, but he still deliberately pulled down his mask to show me. I understand. She wanted to take advantage of me to push public opinion to the climax. Before, when I didn't know anything, I was taking advantage of her. But this time, I knew everything, and I was still willing to help her. I don't know when my two hands were covered in blood. My colleagues arrived late. The body had been removed, and the scene was also sealed off.
A newspaper reporter was blocked outside, angry. Coincidentally, seeing me absent-mindedly standing next to him, he teased, "You guys working in marketing don't know anything. Go home quickly. I'm already so scared without even seeing the body." I held the bloody phone tightly, not saying a word. That night, social media was like a boiling pot. Victor was the freshest piece of meat that everyone was fighting over. Everyone was eager to grab it. My social media account became famous from then on, especially me. I had never seen such a scene. At first, I only had a few hundred followers, but after just one afternoon, the number of followers skyrocketed to over 200,000 and continued to climb. By the next day, it had surpassed 1 million. What I needed to do was to gradually drop the shocking news in my hand like dropping ingredients into a boiling pot. Unexpectedly, compared to the murder, the video of Victor hitting the prison wall made netizens even angrier. Now I understand. Most netizens don't need the truth. They just want to see Victor die. The more miserable, the better. When the police announced that he was killed by an electric drill, the entire network was filled with a feeling of exhilaration. Hey, I gradually got the hang of it. Sometimes dropping the fishing line, sometimes pulling it back. Sometimes I just needed to give a little hint, and the netizens would be in an uproar like the New Year. Private messages exploded every day. Later, I only needed to post a punctuation mark to make many people speculate and follow him in a frenzy. The opportunity was ripe. The final step was to release the photo of him dying and immediately delete it after a second. Countless people captured that moment. Colleagues in the industry were like sharks waiting for me to drop the excess flesh so they could jump in and take a share. Very quickly, the photo spread all over the internet. The netizens were excited and crazy, every day following the drama. Now I was paid. It was worth dying like this. So happy. Evil people will finally be punished. Lily Quinn is the real reporter. And what is Lily Dean doing? Going to get a share? I was both amused and bitter, feeling the irony of life for the first time. If I were a real reporter, I would have stayed true to the truth and exposed myself. That woman's fate, exposing my cousin's secret. But I didn't. I was hoping for even more shocking news. The king's death stirred up a storm. The number of shares exceeded 1 million. I was extremely excited. Every day, lurking under my cousin's house, I had the advantage of knowing the information earlier than anyone else, just waiting for that anonymous person to come back and publicly reveal my cousin's crime. Unexpectedly, the hidden person completely disappeared.
That group of journalists worked so hard to get millions of shares, the whole social network followed and then disappeared. Killed 2 errands and leave the mastermind alone. I almost couldn't believe it. Netizens can superficially blame a sentence or two and then ignore it. But what about me? I can't turn back now. Ambition has been nurtured. Everyday news about who cheated, who ate garlic before kissing scene. Fans are still enthusiastic, but for me, there is no more inspiration. I dreamed of a really shocking news. I even had a dream once that woman killed my cousin with a drill. I also helped him repose and took pictures. The scary thing is, when I woke up, I was still smiling with satisfaction. I made myself break out in a cold sweat. Ambition is a bottomless pit. I finally lost my patience. Instead of relying on that anonymous person, I might as well take action myself and expose everything. I called my cousin and turned on recording mode. When mentioning the words of Victor, accusing him of being the mastermind, my cousin looked bewildered. What does the gang rape 4 years ago have to do with you? If I was the third person, why didn't the anonymous person come and kill me? I just saved a 4-year-old girl from drowning, and I'm about to be awarded the title of good student at the city level. Sister, don't be like this. The hush money of $10 million was also said to be money to help the community. No text messages as evidence, only verbal promises. No phone records either. They were always on guard against me turning on them, so they were very secretive. Can a person suddenly turn from a devil to an angel? I do not believe. I started researching all the cases of the murdered little girl. Spending a lot of time, I finally discovered a new clue. 3 years ago, a little girl named Sophie also went missing in Flower Park District. The Flower Park District is downstairs from my house and is also where the victim was. My blood boiled. I jumped up, almost overturning my chair. Closer to the truth. That year, Sophie said she was going to help her mother buy chili and never came back. The camera recorded the scene where the child had not yet entered the market, but had already turned around and ran away very quickly. The baby's mother's name is Tammy, single mom. People blamed her for letting the girl go alone, causing her to collapse and end up in the mental hospital. I heard from the nurse that she was discharged from the hospital half a year ago, so I asked for her current address. Are you her real distant cousin? She told me to give this address if anyone comes looking for me. I had a feeling something was wrong, as if I had fallen into some trap again, but I still complied. Yes, I am her cousin. Please send me the address. Driven by passion, I lost all reason. By the time I came to, I had 1 foot in the dangerous storm. I followed the address to the place, but didn't see any residential buildings. It is an abandoned incinerator. I was taken advantage of again. Tammy turned out to be a member of the revenge group. I looked up at the factory gate. What a serious scene. This vine is suffering. Door with warning sign, dangerous construction, no entry. Perhaps because I had witnessed Victor's death, I was not afraid at this moment and was even a little nervous and excited. I called my cousin to ask him about the first date, but who was the listener? Me what? Is there any problem if my child doesn't have a phone when picking up the delivery? I have nothing. When he comes back, tell him to call me back. In that ruined incinerator, I walked around for a long time without seeing anyone. My camera hand was tired. I thought it was a malicious joke. Suddenly, my cousin called back. At the other end of the line came my aunt's worried voice. My son is missing, and he hasn't come back yet. When I went out to get the goods, they said they never came. Do you know where it is? I am not. A drop of water fell on my face, burning hot. I wiped my hand, and my finger was covered in blood. I was stunned and raised my head, immediately speechless. I'm still on the phone asking, where did it go? What's going on? I looked away. She kept calm. Don't worry, call the police first. Don't call the police. You know the situation. Auntie sighed frustration. She was sick again. Let me think of a way.
Turn off the phone. Drops of blood fall on me again. Finally, I mustered up my courage and looked up at the crane, where a body in a school uniform was hanging, motionless as if dead. My heart pounded. I gritted my teeth and raised the camera to point at the body. Then I rushed up to the surveillance control room on the second floor. After a while of struggling, I finally got him down on the ground. His uniform was stained red. His pants were removed, and his body was covered in wounds. He was as weak as death, but in fact he was still alive. "Baby, wake up!" I hurriedly picked up the phone when a bloody hand was placed on mine. "No," he whispered weakly. "Don't call the police." I didn't say I would call the police. I easily brushed his hand away and took a miserable photo of him. "This is your karma. Blame yourself." "You are like that, you might as well kill me," he begged desperately. "You are the one who watched me grow up. How can you bear to watch me die?" I was silent for a moment. "Did you kill Sister Sophie?" His eyes were red. "I didn't. I don't even know who Sophie is." "Kill me. I don't want to live anymore anyway. I don't know what to do to make everyone forgive me." Hearing that, I softened and finally put down the phone. "Don't worry. I'll drive you there and won't let you die." I put his arm around my shoulder and was trying to put his pants back on when I heard a child's laughter behind me. In the deserted building, that laughter echoed, making people's hair stand on end. I turned around and saw a woman with a slightly protruding belly standing there, next to a short, fat woman and a little girl. Only you believe it. The knife was killed by it. Do you know why 4-year-old girls keep falling into water? It is because it pushes down. The deaf and mute delivery person was wearing a hearing aid and clearly heard what I said. She was anxious to say something more, but her left hand was useless. She could only use her right hand to write for the pregnant woman to see. The pregnant woman read along. "It incited Trevor to slash me. I don't know how many people it has killed. Now it's addicted." The girl stepped in front of me and kicked him so hard that I couldn't hold on. He fell to the ground, too weak to scream, only groaning. "Tell me, where is the body hidden? If it is true that someone committed murder, even if they were under 14 years old at the time of the crime, they can still be prosecuted." After a moment of silence, he suddenly laughed. "You want to kill me, right? If you kill me, who will know where my body is hidden? No one will know what I have done, so you don't dare kill me." The 3 men holding knives fell silent. In the empty space, only his laughter echoed. "Yes, I like killing people. Just like some people are addicted to games or alcohol, I have a little hobby. So what? What if one person dies? Man must die. You are my cousin. How do you treat me? I'd rather die. I have no hope in you adults anymore." He sneered and held out his hand. "If you don't dare kill me, give me your phone and delete all the photos and videos. I will consider telling you where the body is hidden." Seeing them looking at me, I immediately clenched my phone. "He is not stupid. Why would he tell where the body is hidden? You all suffered so much today for revenge? Delete all the photos to let it escape? What revenge is there?" I tried to convince them. No evidence, no body found. Who would believe that a city-level 3-star student who saves people is actually a serial killer? Calling the police is useless. Unexpectedly, the pregnant woman with red eyes suddenly knelt down in front of me, making me panic and quickly helped her up. "I don't want revenge anymore. You don't understand. A mother just wants her child to come home. Please give her the phone." Seeing them about to rush over and snatch it, I had no choice but to give it to my cousin. Seeing him keep deleting and deleting, my heart ached. It's not just deleting my pictures, it's tearing me to pieces. Every photo, every article in it is something I risked my life to get. Deleted. He enjoyed watching my pain and threw the phone back. "Haha, that's your karma." Seeing him about to leave,
The pregnant woman who was kneeling rushed over to pull his pant leg but was kicked away by him. Who let you stand up? Kneel down. Kneel until I'm satisfied. Maybe I'll tell you where the body is hidden. Get out of the way. I have to go home. I'm late. My mother will worry. They stood there silently as corpses, only able to watch this murderer leave. I said a few words to the pregnant woman. She nodded, and I took my cousin away. In the car, it seemed to recover and became lively and excited, telling stories about killing cats and people without ever getting caught. I was silent. Are you still angry? Delete some photos and contacts. Consider it a blessing for you. She almost killed her. It pushed me. The adults are also awake to advise me to stop surfing the internet and playing games, okay? If you can't quit, why do you force me to quit? It grinned, its teeth streaked with blood. Can I borrow your phone? I have to call the police to arrest those 3 murderers. Seeing that I didn't react, it continued. Well, it's useless to catch me. The girl is only 12 years old, the pregnant woman is troublesome, and the person is deaf and mute. It tried to remember angrily. Knowing that, I would have studied the law more carefully, but when I needed to use it, I regretted that I knew so little. I suddenly opened my mouth. I wanted to save you just now, so I didn't tell them. He hid the body in the residential area of Floral Park District. Be careful, that place is about to be cleared. His face immediately changed color. He forced a smile. Don't guess randomly. Why would I hide the body there? It's best? I glanced at him, saw that he was so nervous that his lips were pale, and smiled again. I heard they had dug halfway and also discovered a snake nest. Very scary. Seeing his uneasy appearance, I felt more certain and continued driving to take him. Get some sleep. We're almost there. After driving for another half hour, he woke up in a daze. Up ahead was the incinerator, getting closer and closer. He shouted in panic, "Why did you come back here? Stop the car." I haven't told you where the body is hidden. How dare you? I know. I coldly interrupted. The place where the body was hidden is under the wooden board in the crate, right? He screamed in panic. No, no. In that small park, the only place to hide the body without letting people smell it is in the trash can. I used to pass by that crate every day. It turns out the answer was right in front of me, but I never noticed. Neighbors around also did not notice. People only know that the body stinks. He panicked and punched me frantically. Stop the car. I stepped on the brakes. The car stopped in front of the gate of the incinerator. He rolled and fell out of the car. The car headlights illuminated the faces of 3 women. Save my life! Killed! He ran, screaming. All around was wasteland with no one to save him. The girl he killed must have cried out in despair like that. I lied to you. Floral Park District is not cleared. I stuck my head out the window, but we will find that body. Peace. Surrounded by 3 women, the sound of the drill was heard. His face pale. Suddenly his legs weakened. He knelt down on the ground. Waiting for him would surely be endless torture, because today they have waited a long, long time just for him to pay with blood. How can they let him go so easily?
That day I drove away alone. Screams, yells, and laughter rang out continuously. The police received the clue I provided and very quickly discovered a huge, deep hole at the bottom of the trash can that smelled strongly. In addition to Sophie's body, there were 2 unidentified children's skeletons. Sister Sophie was missing for 3 years and was finally brought home for burial. Tammy hugged his daughter's remains and wouldn't let go, crying until his eyes were red. And my group of relatives started to make noise. No one expected that the cousin who was always praised for being obedient and good at studying would turn out to be a cold-blooded murderer. Everyone could not believe it. My aunt and uncle said nothing and immediately left the chat group. Dawn and her grandmother were both happy, as if they had lifted the burden of many years. The police searched everywhere for my cousin, but he was missing. On the internet, it's Ted again,
A model student becomes a serial killer. His reputation is ruined, and he mysteriously disappears. Some people say he died, others say they saw his shadow somewhere. Online, Langsong kept scolding my cousin. My cousin was crucified on a pillar of shame. His parents also became despised by everyone. The debate over how juvenile offenders should be punished is never-ending. The Revenge Alliance had once hatched and planned to swap murders to cover their eyes and escape the law. But in the end, they decided to turn themselves in and declare the alliance completely dissolved. Shensi said, "Hiding is so tiring. I want to live a decent life in this world." I was once again praised by people, pushed to the altar of gods. This time the praise was even stronger than before. It was something I had always dreamed of, but when I got it, I discovered that I was not happy at all. I suddenly understood what Shensi said. It turned out that I also wanted to live a decent life. I am Lily Quinn, formerly known as Lily Dean. I wrote a long blog post 4 years ago. In W City, a horrific gang rape happened. The perpetrators were 3 teenagers, Trevor, Victor, and the third person was my cousin, Julian. I clearly knew who the third person was, but I chose to remain silent because every word and sentence was a ripple in my life. The blade that had stabbed others eventually turned back and stabbed me. After writing this post, I rushed into the bathroom. This made the world spin. At the end of the post, I left a sentence, "All is fiction." Thank you for watching. After vomiting, I raised my head to look out the bathroom window. The sunlight was so bright it was blinding, warming my whole body. I let go of everything and returned to reason. It was Lily who had single-mindedly pursued the truth. Very quickly, people found my identity. They discovered that 4 years ago, I had interned at X editorial office and was named Lily. The extra story of Lily Quinn's promotion was Nancy. Nancy's self-confession climbed to the top of the hot search. To be honest, netizens were definitely skeptical. As long as I said it was fiction, they would immediately believe it. I felt like I was exposed to the sun. My back was drenched in sweat. It truly was a kind of torment. An unprecedented storm broke out online, drawing everyone in. Beyond my expectations, amidst the bloody scolding, I received sympathy from some people. Dawn even used a sub-account to speak up. "You are a very good person. She has always treated me very well. Be good to Dawn. Please, everyone, stop talking about her." Netizens argued endlessly. Otherwise, what else could she do? The greatest benefit for Dawn is the most important. Compromise is also a kind of justice. If everyone did that, as long as the criminal gave money, what would this world be like? If it weren't for her, her cousin wouldn't have lived peacefully for 4 years. After all, he was her cousin. She knew where the body was hidden. She could have handed it over to the police, but she chose to kill him. Too poisonous. That's how relatives are. I walked under the hot sun while reading the comments of the netizens. The boss called. "You're really disgusting, daring to write about yourself. Where are you? Come back to the company quickly. I have to discuss the upcoming work with you." I looked up at the building in front of me, which was the police station. I'm not going home. I still have to sunbathe. I used to say that netizens don't need the truth, but I don't think so anymore. I realize that everyone craves the truth, just like people are born craving sunlight, including me. Lily, who disappeared for a year, has returned. Thank you for listening to the story with the Submerged Archives. If you find it interesting, please give us a like and a channel subscription.